but I got a weird feeling about these Apple Vision headset things. I mean, it does feel like a Black Mirror episode. Everyone is in their own virtual world. Apple basically took virtual reality to the next level. It's like having your phone or laptop in your head. Check this out.
Is not a doll. This was the body of a little girl who a twisted man turned into a doll, and she was not the only one. There were 29 little girls whose bodies were turned into dolls. This is Anatoly Moskvin. He was a journalist in Russia who spoke 13 languages and was a self-proclaimed expert on cemeteries. But his obsession was taken too far when he started digging up the graves of little girls ages 3 to 12. In 2011, he confessed to abusing 44 graves. But as I mentioned earlier in the video, only 29 of them were turned into dolls. Several of them had been mummified, some of them had music boxes in their chests. It is thought that the 45-year-old started desecrating these graves in 2009, who would be caught 2 years later in 2011. But in that time span, the 45-year-old was living with the corpses of these little girls in an apartment with his 2 parents. His mother later said that she had no idea that these dolls were the corpses of little girls. He also admitted to wrapping the little girls' faces in nylon tights and then putting the doll faces onto them. And even after he was caught, he refused to apologize to the parents of the little girls. In his words, "These girls are girls. There are no parents in my view." He continued by saying, "Besides, they buried their daughters. That is where their rights to them are finished." He also told the girls' parents, "You abandoned them in the cold and I brought them home and warmed them up." So sick in the head and deranged is quite the understatement. The parents of the little girls were none the wiser until he was caught because he reburied their coffins. They were just empty. Now some of the girls are even buried in unmarked graves, so if he ever got out, he could not find them.
She can manipulate the youth. The kids love Taylor Swift. But instead of being a great role model that she built her fan base off of, now she wants to be a witch. Y'all see the switch? And this isn't something new. Billie Eilish with children, building a fan base with children. Then all of a sudden she made a song called All the Good Girls Go to Hell. Now this is your Billie. Now this is your Billie. And all the brainwash would call it artistic. Lil Nas X built a fan base off of children. They blew this man up out of nowhere. Then what happened? Out of nowhere, he switched. Next thing you know, he's sliding from heaven into hell. Even gave him his own satanic shoe. They had 666 on him. Also, Luke 10:18, the verse in the Bible where Satan fell like lightning. So do you guys see the comparison? Do you guys see the pattern? Do you guys see who they're after? They're after the youth. Because if they can control the youth, they can control the future. Y'all might have thought she was America's sweetheart, but my Bible says even Satan himself masquerades like an angel of light. Stop listening to these artists and stop letting your children listen to these artists. Little do you know you are allowing demonic spirits to come into your household. Because when you play that nonsense, you are coming into agreement with that nonsense. Your eyes and your ears are portals. What you let into them is what you're coming into agreement.
Nowadays they do very weird like rituals in concerts, and I don't know if you peep that, but it's just crazy, man.
The reptilians have a mindset that's very different than what humanity has. Reptilians believe that they are superior to all others. One of the reasons is they are androgynous. They have male and female in the same body. And since this is representative of what exists outside of physical reality, where there is no male or female gender, it's just energy, they consider themselves superior for bringing that type of information to physical reality. You'll also note, based on observing creatures on the earth right now, that reptilian forms do not evolve or adapt over eons or millions of years. They basically stay the same. And if there's a change, they just die out. Whereas mammalian forms need to adapt and evolve as there are changes occurring in their environment. So to the reptilian mind pattern, they're superior because they don't need to change or adapt. Therefore, they're completely perfect as they are. That's the mindset. It's not right, it's not wrong, it's just the way they think.
Reptilian and mammalian species should not occupy the same environment. They don't belong in the same cage, if you will.
I don't know, tell me if you think that there are reptilians among us.
Well, What makes me a prepper is when the elites who I know personally are building bunkers to keep them off the grid for 10 years, and this started 2 years ago.
Whoa. 10 years?
Yep, 10 years, my friend.
Like a 10-year food supply?
Yep, between 3 and 10 years. The lowest one I've seen is a 3-year prep, off the grid, off the range, completely from remote mountains to remote islands. And these are big money people that have information at the top level. And I could talk to you about it offline, Mike, but they're prepping. And
okay, well, now I have to talk to you about this offline, but what can you say publicly, if anything, about what are the broad concerns that would, why would a wealthy person bother to stockpile a decade of food?
Because for whatever reason, whatever's being planned, infrastructure-wise, I think that the system's going to go down. I just do. Because I would not, if I'm an elite and I have all the resources in the world to go buy whatever, I got private jets, everything else, why would I prep at that level? What is it, I always say, what is it you know that I don't know? It's
right.
No different than I was January 5th and 6th, I was down at the Capitol, right?
You know, they have talked about the second pandemic. I don't know if you've heard about that kind of talk.
You might remember the video from a couple days ago when we explored tunnels underneath of an abandoned synagogue in New York. What I didn't show you is everything inside of the synagogue. They had a daycare inside of the basement. A room full of TVs and recording equipment. This very scary looking room. A massive auditorium. And a cafeteria. A Star of David on the ceiling.
Is this genre of music destroying your brain? This theory says yes. There's a theory that says that the United States government has been using DJs and electronic dance music to control people's minds. One of the first DJs accused of being an agent of the United States government was actually DJ Bassnectar. Now, although there are other DJs that have been accused, we're going to use DJ Bassnectar as the center of this theory just because there's so much potential evidence behind it. Really briefly, I want you guys to take a look at this clip that shows a set that was done by DJ Bassnectar. Just take a look at this. Yes, you saw that correctly. During the Bassnectar set, he was using literal hypnosis visualization. Let's also not forget to mention that he, as well as other DJs, have been accused of using hidden frequencies in order to control the minds of those that are listening. The United States military using sound as a weapon is not unknown. In fact, it is very detailed in several documents that the United States government has been practicing with sound frequencies in order to use during wars. This is just a theory. At the end of the day, though, we need to always be careful about the frequencies that we listen to and never know what's hidden underneath it all. Anyway, tell me what you think in the comments.
The most famous Baal in the Bible is in the book of Exodus. God delivered his people, they got together, and they created a golden calf. And they worshipped it. You would worship Baal if you wanted to succeed and be affluent and live a lavish lifestyle. Baal is typified as a bull. A calf is a baby bull. They were worshiping Baal. And see, what happens is we read the Bible and we think, those people are primitive. Thankfully, we've moved beyond that sort of primitive thinking. Thankfully, we don't worship a Baal or bull. Yes, we do. This is right next to the New York Stock Exchange. If we were Hebrews from the Old Testament, we would say, well, there's Baal, the golden bull, and we worship him because we want a bull or Baal market. A bull or Baal market is a thriving market. What I'm telling you is this: We're dealing with new days but old demons. I've said this for a long time. If the people change and things don't, that means that the spirit working through them is the same.
Another picture of the Balenciaga ad campaign. There were books spotted, and keep in mind guys, like we said, this is all placed in frame for a reason. If you look up that book and the author of that book, whose name is Michael Bormans, you will be shocked. Inside this book, you will find a series of paintings of children dressed up in black robes in a circle doing some sort of weird ritual. There are paintings of adults eating these children. You can also find paintings of mutilated toddlers in this book. And this is the same author who also created Fire from the Sun, which includes, this is the description of the book, toddlers engaging in playful but mysterious, sinister overtones and insinuations of violence. In this book, you can find paintings that are extremely disturbing. These are toddlers nude, covered in blood. And there's another painting of these children walking on limbs of other kids. There are also paintings of cannibalism and children being sacrificed along with demonic symbolism. And underneath that book, in the Balenciaga ad campaign, there's another book called The Crew Master Cycle. And if you look up The Crew Master Cycle, you'll find that it means the murder and resurrection of Biff, which are reenactions during a Masonic initiation.
Did you see this? The Pope? Whoa, is this the new Pope? Yeah, he passed away. They did the funeral, and they the new Pope who died, right? Brought him out without a coffin and left him on display. That's dark. For a
Pope don't need no coffin.
That's dark.
Wild, Donald.
That is a crazy gig. And that guy had the craziest past. Pope Benedict, he had the craziest past because he was charged with moving priests around that had committed atrocities. Yeah. And he moved one to a place where they molested 100 deaf kids.
What?
Yes. Google that.
100?
100 deaf kids got molested by this one priest that he had moved when, I believe that he was a cardinal.
You don't hear him coming, that's the problem.
Jesus. You can't even help yourself.
Cut it out.
Son of a
Cut it out. But the new one's supposed to be chill, right?
Well, I think he had to take it down a notch, so the new one got, fucking a regular throne.
I just found something out. I don't know. Okay. I'm just going to say it.
Uh-oh.
You know night vision goggles?
Yes.
How they're like green. Now they have like the white phosphor, which is like whitish blue. But apparently the first night vision goggles that the U.S. government had during Vietnam were red. And basically these goggles were made with a chemical cyanocin or something. They were given to fighter pilots, people in planes, and different parts of the military during Vietnam. And soldiers were wearing them and they were seeing things. The gunner was like shooting in the air at nothing. What do you see right now? And he's like, how do you not see this? They're like giant demons flying beside us. And they're like, what are you talking about? Apparently the chemical that was in this allowed them to see on like some different visible spectrum or something, and they were picking up auras and
like the fourth dimension
energy, and people were losing their mind and going crazy because they were seeing.
Whoa.
They banned them, and the army was like, do not put these on. There's something really wrong with it.
Bring it back. Let's fucking wear them.
Yeah, go to Coachella.
Crazy. And then right after that they stopped and they made the switch to green.
If you had some goggles that would show you the spiritual, like I know for a fact I would lose my mind.
Dude, how crazy that that the politics now, they're just blatantly just stealing money, nuts, dude, and smelling and molesting children.
It's crazy. Dude, no one cares. There's nothing we can do about it.
Even if we voted,
there's nothing we can do about it.
Not at all.
Nothing we can do about it.
We're all trapped in this fucking this money funneling all our money to fucking fight wars. Thankfully, our government is protecting all these people. That's the best thing.
When they killed Epstein,
Bro, I can't get a pothole filled in fucking New Orleans, but you can fill a fucking 9-year-old out in the middle of the fucking ocean. Fuck this whole fucking government,
it's
dude.
Crazy.
It's a bunch of sick fucking people, bro.
Yeah, man.
And a lot of it, I just wonder if it's just power. How long, like you were saying, like generations of fucking power. You just get so sick that even caring about somebody doesn't even seem like it makes any sense to you anymore.
Yeah.
It's literally like a game of like a Risk or one of those. It's like a computer game someone's playing.
And they're
so close to beating it though. They're so close to beating the game.
They just need to drain the swamps, dude.
They need like $60 trillion more from us, dude. And then
we're gonna win. Once we save Ukraine, we're back.
True.
This man here we may never see again because he has since disappeared after the filming of this video. He got in contact with a news crew after some claims had came out that he was able to do very interesting things with his mind. Watch this, and this is part 1, by the way.
In my brain, she's like this. For our sound recordist, it was also a shocker. He then took our newspaper outside and showed us how chi can also be used to set things on fire. When he heard we'd shown this footage in public, he was very upset and refused all our future efforts to contact him again. As the years passed, we sadly resigned ourselves to never seeing him again.
Now, I know the modern day education system has done a very good job at making people think things like this are totally impossible. We have no extra abilities that we can cultivate and harness if we put our mind to it.
Was there once a Jeffrey Epstein type of island off the coast of South Africa? Mark Minnie, a former South African police detective, released a book in 2018 detailing an alleged pedophile ring involving rich businessmen and certain government officials from the 1980s. According to his book, he accused these government officials of taking young boys to an island off the coast of Port Elizabeth where they would abuse them. And this next part is really weird. Just 1 week after the book was released, the author, Mark Minnie, was found dead. His official cause of death was that he took his own life, but many suspected that this was a hit. Listen to this very disturbing thing that one of his relatives had to say following his death.
He expressed that his life was in danger and that if anything did happen to him, we must know that it was done to him, not by himself.
However, the book and his accusations have faced a lot of criticism. Several independent investigations into Minnie's claims were conducted. There was one from Carte Blanche and another from the investigative journalist Jacques Paul. These investigations claimed that the book's sources could not be independently verified and the allegations lacked any real evidence or credibility. The book has since been removed from shelves, and in 2020 the publisher offered an official apology to the accused. So the question is, was Mark Minnie and his book deliberately covered up by powerful individuals, as some believe, or did this whole story just have very little truth to it? Let me know what you think in the comments.
If this warning doesn't send shockwaves through your body, I don't know what will.
Packs of Chinese males of military age, unattached to family groups, pretending not to speak English. These are probably saboteurs who are coming in on the first day of war with Asia. In Asia, I think that we're going to see acts of sabotage, assassinations, detonation of bombs, starting wildfires, and the Biden administration is paying no attention to this.
Just a real quick stupid question. Do you honestly believe that the Biden administration doesn't know what's happening in our southern border? Do you honestly think that they don't know? Okay, well, with that said, look at this article written by the Gatestone Institute International Policy Council. Written by Gordon G. Chang. There is now a Chinese invasion in the U.S. homeland. You can go look at this article. There is now China's shock troops. The concern is that on the first day of the war in Asia, they will take down America's power lines, poison reservoirs, assassinate officials, start wildfires, spread pathogens, and create terror by bombing shopping malls and supermarkets. The next war in Asia will almost certainly be fought in U.S. soil. Perhaps on the first day, unsuspected Americans will be in the fight. Are you kidding me? They're literally like putting this in our face.